Boy, do we have a session today. I am so lucky to be joined by a motley crew of members to talk about Canvas Studio, and it is one of my all-time favorite tools in Canvas. I am very, very biased, but before we get started, those of you that don't know what Canvas Studio is or how it can be helpful in your district, we've got a great video to show you.
Learning wasn't meant to be a one-way street. For learning to stick, students need to do and make, not just watch and listen. They need interaction, collaboration, feedback. Canvas Studio transforms video learning by turning content into conversation. Here's how it works. Educators can create a variety of media experiences for their courses, from self-recorded video to interactive discussions around other content. Students can create videos too, as assignment submissions, presentations, peer feedback, or ways to practice. Everyone gets their own personal media library. Want to bring YouTube content into the mix? No problem. And accessibility is built right in. Focus students' attention with time-stamped comments, then turn those comments into conversations. Embed quiz questions to gauge understanding of key concepts at key moments. Then send the scores straight to the gradebook. Want a deeper look at engagement? Studio offers second-by-second, student-by-student analytics. See what's sinking in and what's falling flat. Personalize, refine, repeat. And of course, Canvas Studio integrates seamlessly with the Canvas LMS. That means Studio can deliver videos exactly how students and teachers want to see them through Canvas mobile apps. It means your institution gets full control of its video assets and a simple storage and bandwidth solution. And your students get richer Canvas courses, no extra logins, and a more fluid learning experience, whether they're online, in person, or somewhere in between. Ready to make video learning more powerful? Learn more about Canvas Studio at Instructure.com.
So here we are with our good friend, Don Lourcey, who is the Canvas admin for Iredell Statesville Schools, also a Canvas certified educator, program facilitator, an instructor, contract instructional design and trainer, a man of many talents, as well as, if you haven't noticed, there's somebody new joining me right down there, Marcus Painter, who is my better half in the Canvas Casters podcast that we hope you enjoy as well out there in Canvas fam land. Marcus, let's go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Talk about what you now do for Instructure, because you are part of now the official family, and we'll let Don kind of get to stepping on some Canvas Studio stuff. I'm so excited. This is my all-time favorite tool.
Absolutely. I'm excited too. I have been in education for about 20 years and recently made the leap to be the senior manager for leadership development at the CLL, which is the Center for Leadership and Learning at Instructure. And I'm with you, Eddie. Like, get out of the way. I just want to hear all about how Don's using Studio, because Eddie and I have been Studio fanboys for a long time, and we've been sort of banging this drum for a good amount of time in our institutions, and we're just super fans. So,
Don, a little bit about you. Obviously, you've been kind of a part of our little professional learning group for a little while here, kind of a Canvas super fan as well, and using the product. Talk a little bit about your Canvas journey before we get started, and we'll let you kind of get your screen share going, and we'll throw your presentation up. And again, Marcus, we'll get out of the way and just kind of be flies on the wall, because I'm really excited to see what he's put together.
Well, and I actually feel like I'm on an episode of Wayne's World. Okay, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. No. We need to start doing the right. So my this is my 29th year in education, and so prior to coming back to my district, 3 years ago, I was with North Carolina Virtual Public School, and we had seen every LMS that was ever on the market until we finally hit this gem in about 2012, maybe. And at the time, I was director of professional learning, and our division was responsible for transitioning all of our adult learning to Canvas. And I immediately hook, line, and sinker. So every time a new tool came out, I wanted to always be the first one to try that out. And then when Studio came around, prior to that, it was Arc. I've always wanted, I've begged, borrowed, pleaded, whatever I can to get our district folks to purchase this great tool. They have not yet, but we're almost close. So anyway, that's my Canvas journey. I tell you, I am the poster child for anything Canvas, especially around my district. And so I'm so happy to be here to be able to share how we are really test driving Studio for hopefully eventual purchase here in about 3 weeks.
Awesome. So we're going to let you get your screen share rolling here. Marcus and I just going to chat a few moments. We love video engagement, right? This is kind of our baby. We think that it not only enhances just kind of classroom interaction, but also building out those really cool relationships that you can have with kids, and then allowing them to be a little creative, like allowing them to own some of that as well. And, we've got people joining us from everywhere. Thank you so much from Facebook, from Twitter, from YouTube. But Marcus, talk a little bit about, what video has meant for you and kind of as an educator and teacher and a district leader in promoting video in the classroom a little bit before we start.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we've been championing for this sort of thing for a long time. For me, as a teacher in the classroom, video was so impactful, not only in having students create, but for me as the teacher, I was able to, leverage things that were certainly more engaging for my students. When I was teaching senior English and teaching Shakespeare, I was always trying to leverage, a scene from one of the iterations of Hamlet, for example, and having that ability, then now with Studio, being able to sort of take that and make it less passive and make it more of an active thing for students is huge. Being able to create quizzes, have students engage with that video, have discussions and conversations, certainly is sort of reimagined what that can look like. And again, since it's, baked right into Canvas, it's just it's painfully easy on the teacher side to make that kind of thing happen. And then from a leadership perspective, can we talk about just utilizing video to just get the tutorial done for teachers, or step by step? I stopped sending emails once I realized that, hey, you know what? I could do a 10-step email here, but it's going to take me 10 minutes, and it's going to take them twice as long to read through it and follow along. So it's boom. It's a Studio video. It's a screencast. It's click, click, click. And I send that. And the teachers, as far as I can tell, much more appreciative of that kind of thing, where we say this all the time, they can watch, pause, and then do. Right. And that sort of procedure has just been super helpful for tech integration, tech directors, instructional coaches, and the like. All
right. So, Don, the floor is yours. Marcus and I have filibustered way too much already on Canvas Studio. We're going to get out of the way. We're going to let you jump in. And I already, I've seen the picture, and it just makes my heart happy, because this is how I've always felt about classroom engagement and using video, because this is what happens when those types of things.
Those kids have had a pixie sticker too, I think.
That's right. And that's the, I couldn't agree more, because anything that relates to interaction, student engagement, student conversations, interacting with content, interacting with teacher, interacting with one another, that's the excitement I feel in my 53-year-old body. I'm kind of channeling the these young people. But you know, and I love the title, that this whole notion of looking at the goodness that is Canvas Studio. And one of the things that our district has really, we have done such an incredible job at, and that is really trying and experimenting with new things. And I think there's such positive to that, but also there's kind of the negative piece where you've got so much, right? You're doing, whether it be a SchoolNet as an assessment tool, to PowerSchool, to Canvas, to Seesaw for our K2 kids, to whatever. And I think video is no exception. And so and of course, you saw the introductions earlier, and I'll share that with you a little bit as we move forward. But if you think about just the myriad of video solutions that we have out there, these are the big four that I see a lot of our teachers using. I will say right now are probably the two biggest hitters for our teachers right now: Screencastify and Edpuzzle. And Edpuzzle has an incredible LTI that you can connect to Canvas, to external tool assignment submissions. You can embed those Edpuzzle videos and pages and so forth. But it is outside of Canvas, and so although you bring those pieces in, there's just so many steps that you have to do to make that happen. From consumer keys to secret. Shared secrets, and there's just so many things that you have to kind of keep in mind to kind of bring and make that integration work. And so I don't know if any of you else out here, but I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and so I believe that Studio can be that one video solution to rule them all. If you catch that allusion to Lord of the Rings. So this is the one thing that I love. Every time something new comes about with Canvas, for me myself, I'm constantly trying to show the value, the benefit for not just teachers, but also for students, but also for other stakeholders. And so we have not yet purchased Studio yet. We're in the process of really looking at and examining how does Studio compare to, say, some of these other video solutions. And so one of our district leadership has asked me to do was to really let's hear from the teachers. Let's get some teachers that are using Screencastify. Let's get some teachers that are using Edpuzzle. And let's test drive Studio to see what their thoughts are, what they're thinking, what they like, what they wish it did that it doesn't do. And so that's really kind of what I want to talk to you about today. And this time is to really look at here, this is what is, to me, the driving ticket for Studio, because it really is to me, out of all of those other options, this is the reason why I feel like Studio is really the only video solution. It is fully integrated into Canvas, so you don't have to worry about bringing in any extra LTI. You don't have to worry about, as Marcus just said earlier, it is easy peasy lemon squeezy to get it from recording your video to inserting that into any Canvas feature, Canvas tool. I love the fact that it can be a repository of collections. Teachers can still build playlists using the collection feature. You can, at the district level, since I'm the Canvas admin for my district, I would have access to and see all of the great videos that our teachers and our students are creating to engage with the learning and to engage with each other. It's got great analytics, great monitoring and reporting. I'll show you some of that here in a few minutes. There's the academic side, but there's also a way that Studio can be used for adult learning and professional growth and collaboration. The accessibility piece, I think, is value add, where it can transcribe the videos that you create directly in Studio. Now, obviously, closed captioning and things like that, if you're bringing in a YouTube video, those do not translate well in using Studio as the platform. But you do have the ability to upload your closed captioning. So I love the whole accessibility piece. There's interaction and engagement. We'll look at that here. But I think, I also see another tick for me is that it could be used beyond the classroom. And we're going to look at some use cases of how you can use it for community, how you can use it for how schools can use it within their school community, how the district can use it in terms of their connection with their stakeholders. And so this next slide is really, these are the features that just really get me excited about Studio and what it can do. And I know we saw some of this in the opening video that Eddie shared, and great introduction. That video is awesome in terms of giving that hook for really promoting the benefit and the value out of Studio. But if you look at some of these, one of the newest features, if you look in the middle, is annotating videos. I love that. It gives you the ability to add text at various strategic moments within a video, and links and link to outside resources associated with that annotation. Teachers and students have their own personal library, and it's not hidden, so it's visible. There's transparency there. You can embed quizzing, formative assessment for understanding of a teaching concept that you want, whether you import, as you saw earlier in the video, where you import in from YouTube, or you upload a video, or you screencast directly in the platform itself. It is so super easy to get from recording into a Canvas feature. We'll look at embedding that easily into the rich content editor. The conversation is great. I know, like with the quizzing, when you build out a quiz, and I'll show you some of this here in a few minutes in the demo, but when you build out a quiz, you have multiple choice, multiple answer, and true false options, but there is still that short answer option, but it's done so normally with the expectation of teachers commenting, students commenting to one another, building that conversation about specific elements of the video that they're watching. Students can see that the interface with the quizzing feature looks a lot like the interface that you'll find with new quizzes in terms of using multiple choice, true, false, and multiple answer. Students can create their own videos. Love that. Where they can actually use videos for presentations. They can create videos that demonstrate their practice or their understanding of a concept. They can use video feedback to get peer feedback. I mean, video to get peer feedback through the commenting feature. So there's just a wealth and slew of and this is, to me, this is the yummy goodness right here that makes Studio so special, and that makes Studio really better than a lot of these other solutions that are out there.
You know, Don, we've got just an all-star cast. You know, Jim says, can't wait to hear from these Canvas rock stars today. But honestly, right now in the chat, we've got Lindsay and Carrie from kind of the Facebook elementary page. Yes, Jim Wolf is here. Casey Testerman, Tisha Richmond. We have some rock stars right now joining us, right? And we love that they're able to kind of be involved and learn more from you. But I just wanted to let you know, I know you can't really see the comments as they're coming in right now, but we have a fantastic crew that's just geeking out over Studio with you. And there was a lot of love for that last slide. Casey Testerman said the title of this slide, though, because it was What Goodness to Behold.
That's right. You know, and although I'm so excited that all of these folks are here, I wish you hadn't told me that, because now, you know, the pressure is. I don't know if you've seen.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Melissa from our Facebook page says, I love the accessibility of Studio and ease of adding and editing closed captions. Absolutely. The accessibility piece alone is worth its weight in gold, I think, when we talk about Studio. And it's something that I know Marcus and I talked a lot about.
And the accessibility piece is not just in the captioning too. It's also in the when teachers build out that time stopped moment where a student can pause and reflect. They don't have to watch this chunk. You know, I teach my teachers and really encourage my teachers that anything over 5 minutes, you're really going to start losing the younger the kid is, anything over, when you look at in terms of holding their attention and being able for them to engage. And so the beauty of doing the quizzing piece and the commenting, it really helps students watch that in chunks. So you see that not just with accessibility, but also UDL principles as well. So that's real fascinating to me.
Yeah, let's dive into that, Marcus, a little bit, because I know it's something that I have always not only preach to some of my educators when I was coaching as an instructional coach, but the length of video is so important. And there are a lot of people out there that are joining us today probably are asking themselves, well, how long is an appropriate video? And I know educators, right or wrong, that will try to record a 60 minutes to a 45-minute lecture on, the Pythagorean theorem, right? That's just what they do, because they just want to replace that in-person lecture conversation with this tool. And I always start with why would you would you ever sit down and watch a 60-minute video of one person with a whiteboard and be engaged and focused? So chunk that up. You can record it, that's fine, but find ways to chunk it up, right? Or cut those clips down so they're very manageable to watch on that platform. We love that people spend 20-30 minutes with us each day to watch these crazy live streams. But man, I don't necessarily know if I'm in the place, especially 17-year-old Eddie, probably not a place to watch a super long video.
Yeah. You chunk the content. We say it all the time. You chunk those videos, and like Don said, if you're creating a video from scratch, you probably chunk that into small 2, 3, maybe 4-minute chunks, because that works. But what Don said there is great. You could have one of those long videos from a YouTube, or even one that you create, and what you can do is chunk it by having those intervention pieces, which I really dig that. Interjecting a question, interjecting a topic, or a pause. You can definitely just go in and put a pause there and just say to students, whomever they may be, take a moment, think about what you just watched, take a breath, and then continue on. So there's this control that it's similar to modules, where I kind of love the fact that you can kind of work them through the learning and pace them, because sometimes learners aren't really capable of pacing themselves, and they want to blow through it and be done as quickly as possible. And so I love what you said there about that way to intervene. Awesome.
And Casey had a great comment on our YouTube page that you always want to ask yourself as an educator, would you be in this classroom? Right. And I used to say, if you were to sell tickets, right, would people actually buy tickets and come to this specific piece of content? Jonathan Yoder popping it. We have some absolute rock stars in the chat today. Aspiring comedian, also fantastic educator, Jonathan Yoder, thinking about the explosion of Snapchat and TikTok. We all want small chunks of digestible info. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Can I keep going?
You're good, man. Don, sorry.
That's all right. No, I love it.
This is what happens.
That's
Welcome.
Welcome to the live stream. So I started thinking about, with the help of, I can't take credit for all of this, but with the help of several of our contractor Slack channels, I've kind of pulled some best practices, some use cases from how folks really across the country, or maybe even the globe, are using Studio. And so I chunked it into kind of 4 domains: classroom, community, professional growth, which as a Canvas admin, I've been working more in my last 14, 15 years of my career, really working with adults. And so I have a special affinity for professional growth, because I know what a direct and even sometimes indirect impact that the work that we do at the district level has on the classroom with the little people in their setting. And so I want to kind of share with this. I'm not going to read all these to you, but just a few things, and I'll take a few from each. But looking at the classroom, of course, we kind of talked about that. But this could be Studio could be a great way for warm-ups, bell ringers, exit tickets, the formative assessment piece we talked about. Thinking about even with our littles, right? I mean, you could use Studio for read alouds. You could use Studios for, hey, get to know you, about me videos. You can use Studio for that practice and for that demonstration of learning. from a community's perspective, and I'm thinking, I want to start this if we're very fortunate enough to, and I can convince my leadership that studio is the way to go, is, do a Canvas Parent Tip of the Week, do school celebrations, do Student of the Week kinds of things, because you can create a public shareable link that you can post anywhere on your website. Or if you build out public facing Canvas courses, you can do that as well. Professional growth. I'm really jazzed about this, about seeing how teachers can, other teachers, their colleagues, their members of their PLC, whatever, can record each other teaching lessons, and then they could upload it in studio and have conversations if they embed those studio videos maybe in a PLC course or a school faculty hub or lounge or whatever, and they can actually have coaching conversations around those particular teaching pieces. They can open up the comments for teachers, their members of their colleagues, to members of their departments or grade level can pose questions and comments about what they're seeing in terms of instructional strategies, best practices with assessment, that kind of thing. Can be weekly reflections for really reflecting on their practice on a daily or maybe weekly manner. They can do those reflections in studio, and schools and districts, in their own learning system, you can do school sub-account announcements using studio rather than all text. Principal can send an encouraging message for the week. You can do fun, engaging kind of videos that help build community within their school system. You can even do this as a suggestion box, especially for students. The students can post videos through the announcement feature that they, whether it be suggestions on how to improve a particular practice at the school level, or parents can do that from the district level. So those are just kind of some use cases before I kind of dive in and looking at some demo of this, of how studio can be used. So very excited that it doesn't have to just be a classroom learning system. It can be a school learning system, a district learning system, or what have you.
I'm going to jump in for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Don.
No, that's all right.
I want everybody that's watching to think about that last slide and all the examples that Don just gave, and then think about how many other tools you currently use or people in your building use to make all of those things happen, right?
That's right.
Because I'm sitting there and I've got a list in my head rolling of 3 or 4 or 5 different things that teachers are trying to learn, because we want to do all the things.
Right.
And so, I'm sitting here thinking, man, you could pick off, for lack of a better term, 3, 4, 5 different tools and just focus on one powerful one like Studio. And it's like, I've been doing it wrong,
That's right. No, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's been one of the challenges that we are facing, and that we really try to encourage is let's try to find the tools that does everything that we need to reduce, so they're not trying to manage 20 different ways to, I'm all about web technologies. I'm all about web resources and digital resources. And because I think those have the power, whether it's in the SAMR model or whether it's TPAC or whatever, they have the power to transform teaching and learning. But finding the one that does as much as you possibly need in order to engage your stakeholders, I say that I'm all for it. I'm all for it. All right, let me demo just a little bit. I want us to look under the hood just a tad, and I want to share with you. This is so I'm going to share with you. This is the Leading with Canvas, the first elective course in the Canvas Certified Educator program, and I show this to you for one reason, is when your district purchases Studio, you will see Studio as a global navigational icon like you do right here. Okay. Now, this is my instance. All right. We have not done that yet, so you do not see that here. But I got to tell you, my CSM and our account manager, they're brilliant and one of the solutions engineer for Canvas, I came to him and said, look, my teachers want a test drive studio because we're really thinking about purchasing that. Could you give us a test drive instance? And so I created a course for them. I built out a test driving Canvas Studio course, and then they added Studio here for us. So I'm about to click on it so you can see that, but it's going to be everything you're about to see would be navigationally accessible over here in your global navigation. Okay, but for my purpose, since we are not yet officially purchased that and moved in that direction, they gave us, and they've been wonderful. We'll have it for 3 weeks, testing it out. It ends next week. But what I've done is I've got teachers, and I've asked teachers who use Edpuzzle and Screencastify to come into this pilot. I've got about 35 teachers, and they have until next week to kind of build out their test drive. And so one of the things that I've asked them to do is pretty much these 6 things, because this is really the 6 elements of the studio goodness that we talked about, right? Do a screen capture with a video, upload a video to Studio, create a video with a quiz, annotate the video, embed the video, create an external tool assignment. And so some of our teachers are working on this, okay? But I want to kind of show you, because they haven't all finished that, I created some demo pieces here that I want to show you, and I'm going to come back to these elements and show you 3 or 4 of these pieces. But I want you to take a look at, so just imagine that I click Studio from the global navigation, okay? And this is what it's going to launch out to. It's going to launch out to the repository of all videos that have been created by any of the teachers that are in this test instance. Okay, so if this was from your accessing it from your global navigation, you click on it, you'll see all of the specific videos that you have created, that you own, and that you can use to engage your students with. So here we have several that our teachers have uploaded. Most of these come from YouTube, which I love the fact it has such an easy means to upload. I'm a former English teacher, okay? And I'm also getting older. So I like things that are easy to click. I like things that are easy to add. I love the fact that it says add and plus sign. I'm golden, okay? So if I want to add a video, I can simply search any YouTube. I can grab the link. I can paste it there. Love that feature. Of course, you've got to also be mindful of, any video that you find on YouTube. The fact that it has if it has a Creative Commons license, that's even better than just doing any YouTube video that you find out there, because there may be some copyright issues. So that's always important to remember when you're pulling in videos into Studio. Now, you also, if you have MP4s, you can also upload them from your wherever you keep them in the cloud, or whether you keep them on your computer, or wherever you can also upload them there. Marcus mentioned this earlier about being able to record your screen. So if you can do screen capture or webcam capture, I don't know about you. I don't mind having my mug on the videos I create, but you may not like that. And so doing just simply screen capture, you can. It has really kind of the same functionality that you might find in Screencast-O-Matic, in the sense if you've used that tool. So it's going to load up the tool itself. Sorry, it's taking a bit of time to do that.
Yeah, and I know sometimes when you're actually doing a live version, using your camera in another instance, it might be hard to show that. So.
Yeah. No, and I should have thought about that. Now, if you notice the screen that just popped up, I've already downloaded it multiple times. So it's going to ask you that, and then you can download it, and it's going to be an easy, you can see the frame that's going to be recorded, and so forth. You can choose the webcam, whatever you need, audio, webcam, screen, whatever your preference is to record, you can simply do that recording. Now, so from this view, however, you can't build anything into the videos that you create from this view. You have to actually be in your own personal, because it opens up kind of really to the repository of all videos that are created. So I'm going to click on the hamburger over here, and I'm going to go to my library. Okay, and so here are the specific videos that I've created for this test drive, if you would. Now, one of the other cool things that I love about Studio is you have the ability to create kind of playlists, and they call them collections. And so I added 2 videos here for demo purposes. One is Ruben Pentadura with his discussion about explaining and applying SAMR. And then if you don't follow Susie Lawley, you need to. She's awesome. And she had a video she has really Canvas for Littles. And so she did a video on accessibility. So I created a collection. So any video I add to this, I can add to my collection. You can see these 3. Now, let's say, for instance, if I'm come over here, I'm going to click on here. I'm going to come to, now if you notice, you'll see the little quiz, the little quiz icon, which is unique to Canvas. And so that lets you know that I have a quiz built into this video. But this is where all the magic happens. Everybody mentally say magic. Love it. Okay. So this is where the magic happens. So you click on the 3 dots. I know on Twitter, I've seen a lot of analysis about what these 3 little things are here. I call it the Canvas stoplight. You can call it snowman. You can call it whatever you want to. You can call it 3 vertical dots if you want to. But I click here, and then you can either move to another collection. I can share the media. I can annotate the media, annotate the video, or if I want to create another quiz. I've already created one quiz for this video, but I can also add the quiz here. And one of the beautiful things about is it's not complicated. You know how when you build out a new quiz, and I love new quizzes, don't get me wrong. I love it. I think it's an exceptional tool. I think it still has a lot of bugs that need to kind of work out before it becomes the native quizzing engine. But you got 11 to 13 possible answer question choices. Here you only have 3, which I love. You have multiple choice, true, false, and multiple answer. But if you want to create, or if you want to have kind of a short response, comments, questions, things like that, you can simply enable comments. And you can see here, I have this at the very start, you can see whenever I add the comment, it tells you, it asks you, where do you want to add the comment, what place, what timestamp. And I wanted it right at the very beginning because he had just talked about the importance of teachers examining their own practice. So I asked my students, why is it important that teachers examine their own practice regularly? And so when I embedded this video, and I'll show you that right now, when I embedded this video into a Canvas page, the students that I have in this course was able to go and make a comment to the video at that particular space as they're watching that. So you can see here the video, and I'll show you here real quick. So here you can see there's my question, and then Jim, who's one of our content coaches, but also a student in this test drive course, he provided his own comment. So a student, you can encourage them. You can set discussion protocols, much like what you would do with the discussion tool. You can encourage students to reply to at least 2 other people. You can give specific requirements for the discussion about how long, the quality, those kinds of things. But this is a great way, as we talked about earlier, to chunk the content into manageable pieces. So you can also see here, I love these. This is where you can add the captions to your video, but you can also check the insights of who viewed it. Let's see, James, you can see here that Jim, that's his, so you can see it gives the specific number of views, the number of times that they've watched. You can see what's working, what's not working, that kind of thing. But let me show you, this is probably one of my favorite things, okay, is the ease by which to bring in a video. It is incredibly, like I said, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you open up in edit mode, you go to your rich content editor, of course, and Studio is going to be located under the app plugin. Okay, so when you click on the app plugin, and then you'll have a icon for Studio, click Studio, and then all your videos are going to be here, and then it's going to give you the option. Let's say I want to view my list here. Now, when I click on it to add it, I've already added it, so it's not going to give me the option to add that right now. But when you click on it, it's going to ask you to do standard embed or quiz embed. So if you built a quiz, make sure you do quiz embed in order for it to kind of populate the page or the assignment or what have you. Now, so you can embed a studio video anywhere inside Canvas using the rich content editor, whether it be a discussion, an assignment, or a page. Now, I'm going to show you this next piece, and then I'll be done with my demo, and then we'll see if there's any questions. But here's the assignment. I'm actually going to do this one first. This one is, I have a teacher who's going to be moving across the state. And so I asked her, I created a video, created a question for her, what will you miss most about South Iredell? Okay, and I gave her some directions here. And so to show you how that or what that looks like when it ends up in Speedgrader, she posed her question and she had the text entry. She went to the application plugin. She chose the studio. She pulled in her video. And then, of course, you can watch it easily here. You can, if there was a rubric attached, you could click on rubric, and then you can provide the grade for that. So that's one use of the assignment. But the other piece is you can connect it using an external tool submission type. So let's say, thinking about the SAMR example I gave you, I built a quiz in that. Okay, so I built the assignment. I connected I edited the assignment details. I pulled in the video, and then based upon the edit, when I chose the assignment submission, I chose external tool, and then I went and chose the video. So when the student then completed the video itself, did all the answer questions, I can view the her choices here. I can look at I think it's going to allow me to do this. So I can look at my insights here. It's going to always say if there's a quiz attached to get started. I can view my insights here because I know only one student that I put in this course did this quiz, so I can see what her insights are. So let me see if I can find her. There she is. So I can actually check Megan's view, but it automatically, once she took the quiz, it automatically populated the grade book. Which is a pretty nice feature too. So there's not, having to do double duty of record the grade, then go back or in another place, and then go back and add it into the grade book. So that's kind of the demo for this. And Eddie, I didn't know if there was any questions relating to any of what I showed you. I kind of did that in a pretty quick fashion.
Yeah, I don't see any questions come in. As always, guys, we're using the comments here to kind of facilitate any questions that you have. So if you do have questions for our presenter, Don, go ahead and throw those in there. I see you've got some Learn, Connect, and shares here, Don. If you'd like to put those links in the private chat, or we can get those out through social, be more than happy to put those in there. Marcus, just the design alone, like I was kind of in love with the way that he's kind of designed that test course and had, his educators be able to try something out. And I think that's what I love most, is to taking that strategic approach to not just like, hey, you have it, now go use it. It was more of a, let's learn together. Let's figure this out together. Let's roll together. And it was very apparent that was strategic. So I love that, Don.
Awesome.
I really like the concept, and I'm going all the way back in the slides to sort of some of the less obvious applications of Studio, and I dig all of the stuff that's district wide. That stuff speaks to me because I feel like we oftentimes will look at the old inbox and think, delete, 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 delete. And you'll get, various sort of iterations of newsletters and things like that. And we all know that information certainly is valuable. And it is those are weekly things, monthly things that every school and every class, we have those. That's part of the communication process. I dig the idea, and I know it was on the list there, where it's like, how about having that building level administrator or superintendent create and share out those videos that can go sort of be internal communications, because everybody in every walk of employment says, that could have been an email, that meeting could have been an email. But I love just like the idea of that communication not being the email, but being a video, being that video where my building administrator took the time to use the tool that I'm using with students and learners. They took the time to utilize that same platform to communicate with us, where we can watch that, we can listen, we can get the updates we need. Maybe it does save a full-on meeting here and there. There's really no limit to the ways in which you can leverage Studio, and it's super cool to see all of the examples and the cases that you've been working with your staff on.
Don's feverishly throwing in all of the resource links to the chat here. I am throwing them in the comments as we kind of wrap things up. Don, you did such a great job that it has been radio silent on the comment section. So thank you so much. Like, there are no questions right now, which is awesome. So thank you so much for kind of giving us some time today to talk about Studio. I know that it's a very interesting place where you're at. You get to use it as part of the Canvas Certified Educator program. You're also piloting it with your teachers at your district in hopes that it's something that you can launch everywhere. So it's a really unique story. Lindsay comes in. I love the idea of using Studio for coaching conversations, providing videos of instructional practices, obviously 100%. Let's show some love to Don. Thank you so much for being a part of the Canvas live stream today. As always, you rocked it. We can't wait to do more of these moving forward. Thank you so much, dude.
No, absolutely. I enjoyed it. And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
As always, guys, keep learning out there in Canvas Fam Land. We can't wait to see you on the next live streams next week.